Hi, I'm Finn, and I know this part. When bedtime comes, but sleep won't start. The lights go low, the toys are done, but their little thoughts still want to run. That's where I come in each night, with gentle stories, calm and light. No wild sounds, no flashy screens, just quiet tales and cozy scenes. For ages 3 through maybe 9, I help bring peace one word at a time. You press play, and I'll do the rest to help those wiggles turn to rest. A simple rhyme they'll come to know. Say it with me, nice and slow. Blankets tight, stars aglow. Close your eyes, it's time to go. So if you're tired of the bedroom fight, come join me here on Fin at Night. Find us wherever you listen to the show, and here's to sleep from head to toe. Welcome to Fathernetics, Fatherhood Unfiltered. I'm Jamil. Welcome to the podcast.
You can never find somebody do it like me. I'ma turn it all the way up, cause it kamikaze. Go ahead and try, baby, you are gonna see that you'll never ever find somebody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we have brought to you another father that is supporting the podcast today. So I'll let him introduce himself, but a very long-time friend of the show, very long-time friend of the family. One of the role models for my son and for me, for sure. Shally, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Awesome. My name is Shally V, but usually my friends and people who know me, they call me Shally. And yeah, you're right. I am a longtime family friend.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yep. And possibly a really awesome role model.
There you go.
For you and your kid.
There you go. There you go. So tell us a little bit about your background. What do you think is worth sharing to an audience that just met you that tells us more about you?
Okay. Can I tell you about, my life story in a way, like a shortened one?
Anything you want to share, let's do it.
Okay. Well,
It'll give us some insight as to the genetics that go along with your father style.
I see. So yeah, I'm an immigrant, and I grew up, let's say, half my life in India. I am let's say, college graduate, also a master's, and
USC, right?
USC.
Yeah.
Yes, I did my grad school in USC, but my undergrad I did in India. So I was 24 when I got here. So it's been about 20 years since I've been here.
Nice.
Closer,
I guess I
closer
would
20 years.
probably
Yeah.
ask about that immigrant experience as well. That's probably a cool story to insert here, but I'll let you
It'll
continue.
come in handy.
Yeah,
It'll come in handy.
Fair
I
enough.
think,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Because if you're asking for perspectives, maybe I'll have that one too. Because let's say when it comes to parenting style or being parented by someone who was totally alien to maybe the lifestyle that we have here now, maybe could come in handy. But yeah, so yeah, I've had half of my life I spent in India. I grew up in a rural family, but I had the fortune to actually go into really nice schools in India, for Indian standards, I mean. I was in boarding school majority of my life, since kindergarten.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. So you could say, did I spend a lot of time at home? I kind of did, because we used to have not 2, but 4 semesters in my school.
Mm-hmm.
So after every semester, we used to have holidays. So summers, 2 month long, winters, 1 month long. And then we had 10 days in fall and 10 days after our finals, which used to be in March.
That's almost like time off from school here with our kids.
Pretty much.
But maybe a little bit too
Yeah,
long.
so we followed the English, what you call system of schooling, because, being a former colony.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one to also highlight if we ever get the chance to do that. I think a lot of the background in India has a lot of
Familial
items that are
ties.
intertwined with the colonial times and the UK English. I say UK, but it's more
Yeah,
English,
it is
English.
UK English.
Yeah.
I got made fun of. Not that much. People would just be like, is it aluminium? That kind of thing. But yeah. Yeah. It's the same.
It's aluminum.
Yeah. Yeah, it is aluminum. Now I know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so let's get into the first question
Yeah.
that I have for you. Based on your experience, your culture, your background, I guess I would ask this question of myself. My dad will eventually be someone that will be on this podcast as well. But born and raised in Panama, you know, the cultural stitching of being a father was always present, right? My dad was the breadwinner at the time, right? Man of the house, very quintessential dad mom type of structure in our home. He would go to work, come home in the evenings, you know, hang out with us, play with us. We've always known my dad to be very stoic in his approach, which I think was fantastic. If my dad ever freaked out, then we're all gonna freak out because dad doesn't freak out.
Dad
right?
doesn't freak out. Yeah.
And I think there's some value there in creating the type of stability and the type of peace that we kind of grew up with. Whatever issue dad was dealing with, we didn't know
We
about.
did not know about
We
it.
didn't,
Yeah,
we
never.
didn't need to know about it because there's nothing we could do about it. And as kids, the focus was really on making sure that we, you know, went to school, had fun, played with our friends, you know, hung out with grandma and grandpa, and then, you know, took our trips and stuff. And that was it. You know, it wasn't until much later that, you know, after conversations with dad and, you know, going back in history, you know, these things would happen, especially when we had, you know, the Just Cause war invasion, if you will, in Panama, and really trying to explain to us what had happened. And we were like, wait, all that happened and we were there? It's like,
We were there, yeah.
You didn't need to know.
Yeah.
So, and looking back, it's like, if we had known, we would have been more stressed.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many different layers to not only my dad, but to being a dad. So I guess my question to you would be, how would you describe a father from your perspective?
Wow. I would say that, okay, so I think when you decide to become a father, it's more of like, okay, you know, sometimes it just happens for a lot of people. But I'd say in my case, with me and Daisy, it was really planned. I think we were in that state of what you call life that we decided we wanted to have a baby. And when we started having a baby, I think I was a little bit, okay, it's going to happen. Everyone does it. And I don't think it actually dawned on me that I was a father till I actually got the baby. I think Daisy was dealing with that, you know, 9 months before me because she was going through all the physical aspects of it. But me, no, not at all. I was pretty much just doing what I was doing before that. I felt like everything is going to fall in place and everything's going to work out. Because, as you were saying, we were shielded from, I'm just sharing that this is probably the same kind of thing that I had in my household.
Yeah, yeah.
The fathers never told you how to be a father.
Right.
Or how to do a lot of things which were so stressful. And in my case, I was always away from my father. I was at school. So we were just laughing, playing, having fun, what kids do.
When you would come home from school, coming back from boarding school, do you feel like you recalled any influences in your life from dad or any other father figure that was not necessarily trying to teach you how to be a father, but to be a better human being, a better male that would then lead in potentially to being a better father?
I think our relationship with my relationship with my dad, and I also saw the same thing happening with my cousins as well. It was usually like, you have only one job to do right now, and that is to study. And that was it. You study, you get a career, and then, you know, then we'll get you arranged. And that's how life was back in India, back where I was from. As I told you, I'm from a, you know, little rural family, farming community. But, you know, cities had a little bit different, but this was my reality.
So do you think this is unique
No.
to your dad, or is this really the concept in India? It's like we've got these 3 pillars we're trying to hit. Everything in between we'll just kind of figure out.
I'd say that a lot of people that I have met, like my friends and all, the story was kind of similar, but I'm not gonna generalize it. Some people have different ways of, hell no, my dad actually taught me how to be a
Right.
dad or whatever.
Right.
But no, I think in my case, or majority of the people that I knew, like my friend's case, it was basically you have one job, study, make a career, and then we will get you married.
Okay.
It was never like, go ahead, find your spouse, be a father. This is how life works or something. No, it was basically you're in the school right now. The only job that you have is to study. Yeah, have fun while you study, but if your grades are coming down, then no fun.
Yeah.
then put more time into studying.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then as I grew older, I think my visits to home kind of like started shrinking because I'm coming of age and I'm trying to have more fun with my friends. It's not like I did not want to come back to my parents. It's just that what I got in like 2 months when I was a kid, I started getting in like 2 days. And then, because majority of the time I was like, hey, what do you want to eat? That was my mom's thing. And my mom would actually tell me how my dad has been or tell me how things.
So she connected with you through food.
Oh, yeah. She connected with me through food. And then I didn't go out at all when I was at home. I was in the village, right? So I would just sit next to her and she loved having me around. Because I think my dad and mom didn't have that kind of relationship where she would share stuff with my dad and my dad would they would have discussions or something like that. No, nothing like that. They were like, doing their own thing. And then mom would be really happy when I was home because she could share everything that she wanted to share with me in a way that I was kind of like filling the gap where dad left.
You were a third party observer.
I was third party
that wouldn't
observer.
necessarily share it. You were the therapist.
I was the therapist. There you go. Yeah. Okay. But I didn't have any input. I would just say, yeah,
Well, that's all some people need.
yeah,
Is
that's
right?
it.
Somebody listen and nod their head. And
Yeah.
We're good.
Yep.
For another year. See you next year.
See you next year, basically. Yeah.
So where do you think your baseline for being a father came from, if not directly from your dad?
Okay,
That's a tough one.
I got some answer for that. I think it was. I think maybe you were telling me about this thing, or maybe we were talking about it a while ago. I think it was not like, as I said, I wasn't prepared or anything like that. I knew this was going to happen. Like I expected this. I was gonna be a father. I did not know what was it gonna entail. Like, what am I supposed to do? But when I held the kid, and as I told you, I wasn't even attached to the kid at that point in time. It was just like a beautiful looking kid. That's it. And then I knew what my job was. My job was to keep him safe. Keep him safe, keep him fed, change his diapers. Right? So I'm doing that. And I'm doing that to the best of my ability, because I felt like, this is my job to do.
Right.
So I'm doing that. And while I'm doing that, I'm slowly realizing that I'm falling in love with him. With his, little, the things that he did and everything, just made me happy to be around him. I would just take photos of him doing weird things, slowly talking, slowly doing everything. So I've seen that my role as a father, or I think I define my journey in this fatherhood as functional changes or change of function. Yeah, change of function. Before I was just taking care of the baby, making sure that that baby survives. Right? So, and then I started taking him to school, taking him to the park. When he started walking, he's starting to talk. He's asking me questions. Not questions at that point in time. He was just like pointing at things. And all I did was yes.
So more interactive.
Interactive.
More personality.
Yeah.
More of a real person.
A real person,
Yeah.
And as I went through that journey, I just felt like my love for him was just growing and growing. And I think that thing also brought me really close to my wife. But yeah, at that point in time, I realized, because through the love of the kid got me closer to my wife. And then as he's growing up, my function now changes to, okay, now I have to teach him something when he starts, talking better or like making sentences or doing something. Now he can understand a little bit. So then I started telling him what to do, what not to do. Then I think my function started becoming, and unconsciously, I didn't even know that why I did that. I just felt like I need everyone else to love him like I love him.
Okay.
I wanted him to be pleasant. I wanted him to be when he's around people, he should be like well behaved, not annoying, all that stuff. I just wanted him to be loved like I love him.
It's kind of like we all forget how we were as kids.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
I wasn't like that as a kid. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And
were annoying.
We were annoying, yeah. And maybe unconsciously, I just didn't want him to be like that.
Oh, okay, so
There
now
you go.
you're going into some stuff that's like, okay, psychologically, we're all trying to avoid all of the things that we remember from our childhood
Yeah.
that we did not like.
Yeah, so
And I think it's unavoidable. Those are like rites of passage.
sometimes there aren't. But the thing is this, as I said, this was not planned at all. It's like maybe some subconsciously, I'm thinking about this thing, or not even thinking about it, just happened. Because my family members will tell Daisy how naughty I was when I was growing up. I would go to other people's homes, I would break stuff and all that
That's
stuff.
a whole different podcast. We're going to come back to that.
Yeah. So I think subconsciously I was trying to not make him like that. Mm-hmm. Like I was still making him do the things that I would do, like, have fun and then, learn certain things, play the games that I used to play. So, because what else do I know of being a kid?
Right.
I'm drawing from my own experiences.
And you're an only child.
I'm the
so you don't
there you
have
go.
someone else to say, okay, they did it differently.
No. But here's the thing. I was in a joint family, so, I was the youngest of the cousins. I knew something of my cousins, but they were still, I think the youngest one is 10 years older than me. So, yeah,
And you
not
have
that many
50
things in common.
cousins, so
Yeah.
it's like-
900, please.
And so I think what you said earlier is a good segue into one of the questions that I have, obviously coming from a different culture, a different country, from the LGBTQ perspective. How do you have that conversation with your son, knowing that his uncles are two dads to his cousin, who he calls his brother, our
Yeah.
son? How do you have you had that conversation? Is that like an aha moment for him, or is it just this is the way it is? And how do we prepare him for when those questions do come?
Yes. So here's the thing. He did ask me this thing. I think after a while, he it comes up as, how come Jacob has two dads and I only have one? Right?
Right,
Curious?
because everything we see is mom and dad.
Mom and dad.
Everything.
Yep. So he's like, how come Jacob has two dads and I only have one? And I knew he was not going to
He
understand
was,
what
he was trying to say he needs two dads and one mom.
maybe just two dads. So yeah,
So what do you say to that?
what do you say to that? Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's gonna understand what gay is. I don't think he's gonna understand what sexual orientation is at that point in time. Like he is when he started asking that question, he was 3.5 or 4.
Okay.
So it was basically like, so we did this. I think I just said whatever came to my mind at that point in time, which was, Henry, when two people love each other, they can decide to get married and have a family. And guess what he did? He just said, okay. And he has never asked me that again.
It's the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And I think that is, from an LGBTQ perspective, I think that is how we've gotten to where we are today in America.
Absolutely.
Those conversations come up and people go, shh, we don't talk about that.
Yes.
Or it's a sin, we don't talk about that. Same thing with racism.
Yeah.
Oh, these people are less than we are. And you teach your kids this, and they grow up believing that.
Yeah.
And the reason that comes up in our house is because, and you'll probably go through this a bit when you're, Jacob's age.
Yep.
At 11, there are questions about who'd you vote for in politics.
Yes.
And why someone in the White House, mainly Trump,
Yep.
talks so negatively about the stereotypes that they're being taught are not real.
Yep.
But they're hearing it from their friends.
They are hearing from their friends. They're
who are
hearing from
getting
their
it from
family.
their parents, right?
Family, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So I am a proponent for having these difficult conversations with our kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they bring it up, sometimes before they bring it up, so
Yeah.
that they're prepared to respond to these things in the moment.
I'll tell you a story. As with everything, we'll just draw from our experiences, right? Grew up in India, okay, till let's say maybe 11th or 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it 10th, maybe. I had no idea what gay is.
Mm-hmm. So that was even a question also.
No.
In India, is that even
Yeah.
known?
Yeah. Well, right now, everyone probably knows it.
Right. Well, times
Right?
have changed a little
Yeah,
bit.
times have changed. But so I was born in 1981. So 80s, 90s, India didn't have like foreign investments till like 95. 95 was when MTV came to India in my life. Yeah. And then before that, we didn't even know what Coca-Cola was. My generation.
Right.
Yeah, people before me probably did. Yeah, my generation. We did not know even what Coca-Cola was. Right?
Okay.
95, I might be, mixing the dates up a little bit,
yeah.
but yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah. So early 90s, let's just put it that way. Early 90s, India starts, letting people, not people, foreign companies invest back in India. MTV comes to India, cable TV comes to India, Coca-Cola comes to India, and a whole lot of information comes to India. All right?
The good with the bad.
Good with the bad, absolutely. A lot of Hollywood comes to India, right? A lot of shows come to India, and we get a new window to the world, right? So going back to the fact that no one even mentioned sexual orientation in my house ever, and I think even they did not know that.
Right. They didn't know enough
They did
about
not
it
know
to even
that.
bring it up, right? It's
Absolutely. I don't think anyone in my Indian side of the family even has gay friends. Not at all. Right? Maybe in the city somewhere, some of my friends maybe, but I haven't known yet. Okay? So growing up in that world and then realizing that, okay, fine, there's something called sexual orientation. When I grow up a little bit, I start watching movies, I can start consuming, media. And yes, I would say that I would say Hollywood or maybe early 90s media actually did a really amazing job at showing us what queer people were like or gay people were like. They were annoying.
Right. So they did
They were
the
annoying.
quintessential,
Absolutely.
stereotypical gay.
Yeah, exactly. I would say till I met Nick and you, I thought the gay people were annoying a lot of times, right? Because what examples do I have?
We have our moments.
Yeah, yeah. So Hollywood taught me that gay people are annoying, and black people are thugs. Right? But I get it. They're the product of their times, whatever. I'm not blaming anyone for that. But what I'm trying to say
it's
is
very North Korea, right? It's only what we show you that you will believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Me sitting in a place where nothing like that is even discussed, and then we consume all this media coming from just one source, or even let's say European sources, right? Because everyone's pandering to whatever audience, same audience, sorry, not whatever audience. And they're pretty much doing the same kind of thing. And then that becomes our touchstone. And that's what we know about, let's say, queer people, let's say black people, let's say Asian people, or, well, I am Asian, but yeah, you understand what kind of
And
Asian.
vice versa is the same. Everybody
you
in
go.
America,
Abu.
all we knew, exactly. All
Exactly.
we knew was Bollywood.
Yeah.
Every Indian person is going to be dancing to something.
Yeah,
That's all
and
we
shaking
know.
their head like this, all
Exactly.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what would you say, when your son is closer to a teenager and really wants to dig into that, where would you point them apart from? Obviously, we are a good resource for that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of touching on this a little bit in my previous podcast where we're all role models,
Yep.
whether we want to be or not.
Yep.
It's all about how intensely of a role model we are. You as a dad would be the most intense role model
Absolutely.
for your son.
For
But
now.
for now.
Yeah.
And then, it may shift and, number one, number two position may change.
Dreading the teenage years, man.
Exactly.
You know what happens, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that everyone we come in contact with, especially kids, you for Jacob, me for your son, Henry, me for our kids' friends that come over all the time. We are role models that represent what two dads in a home looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
It is not what you saw in the 80s.
No, it's not.
It is what you are experiencing today. So
Yeah.
we always lead
Yeah.
with that perspective that every time someone who is not family is in our home is an opportunity to educate them
Absolutely.
on what LGBTQ represents.
Yes.
It's a spectrum. right? So
Yeah.
we're but a very thin slice of it, but we're still
Yeah,
representing.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that's important.
And yeah, you're right. You are my touchstone right now, right? Because I am the closest to you guys.
Yep.
You guys, I mean, you and Nick, obviously, and you being the closest gay friends that I have. And you are right. These questions will come up when Henry grows up a little bit. I think right now it was really amazing for him to understand that, okay, fine. They love each other. They want to be together. And that's about it.
So that's an age appropriate.
That's an age appropriate. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
When it gets more intense,
When
because
it-
I worry about this because our son's already come home saying our friend uses the N-word.
Yeah. Oh,
or
yeah.
our friend, made fun of me because I have two dads.
Yeah.
And so those are conversations that we've already had with him
Mm-hmm.
before it happened. It's still emotionally impactful for him.
Yes.
But we've had the conversation with him to say, be prepared because idiots exist.
They do. They
You-
absolutely
you,
do.
You have a right
Yeah.
to be an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
and so go forth and conquer. It exists. So for him, when he starts talking about what does that look like, and on top of it, what does racism look like? Because for him,
That's going to be a question at
for
some
him,
point. Yeah.
not being white
yeah.
puts him up for that type of
For
engagement.
that type. Yeah, exactly.
already.
Yep, it does.
So what do you think about that? What scares you the most about that? If at all, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I think I haven't had a bad experience yet. Okay, when it comes to, being hated on or something like that. But I think people always have their guard up. I'm not looking for it, but I would not say that I'm also ready for it. I think I put a lot of faith in people around me, and I think I have my group of friends, the people that I'm close to, are really educated people. For them to actually say something really derogatory to me or to my son is something that I can easily understand. Not easily understand. Like I can understand, okay, fine. You are a bigot at that point in time. If you're that educated, you're that reasonable, and you still go ahead and choose to be that kind of person, right? So you are automatically someone that I probably would not want to associate with, right? But yes, these questions will come. And I think, let's say, talking about LGBTQ. So we had the birds and bee talks with him when he was quite young, I think about 5. He might not understand all of it, but when he eventually understands what it is, he will not get shocked. Right?
'Cause it'll come up.
It
at
will
the
come up.
most
Yeah.
innocuous time.
So there have been times when he's like, how do people have babies? So it started with that, and then we.
So do you give the stork story?
No,
or do you give the real story?
We gave him the real story. He got a little confused, but then he understood that, okay, fine, he has a penis, right? And he understands that mama doesn't have a penis. So I didn't go into the details of how intercourse works, but it was basically like, okay, fine, when people love each other, they can have a baby. The baby is made when you have sexual intercourse. And when people have sexual intercourse, da-da-da-da-da. So then came the time when he asked, so how did Theo and Uncle Nick have a baby?
Oh, I mean, that's the natural question.
That's a natural question, right? So we're like,
He's like, I know anatomy.
yeah,
I've studied
exactly.
it now.
So
We've
he was
had
like,
that
okay,
chat.
you're telling me this, but then how did that happen?
The math isn't mathing.
Yeah. So I think he was pretty receptive.
I mean, it's a smart question.
Yeah. So then I was like, they adopted a kid, right? And they adopted a kid because that's the only way a gay parent can have a kid. Otherwise, you can go for, they say, IVR or something. Not IVR. Surrogacy, sorry. You can do it that way. But eventually, you're having someone else have your baby. A female will have to have a baby unless science progresses and you can just produce a baby.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. Well,
I'll skip that.
let's skip that right now. For now. Yeah. We never know what happens, right?
Right.
But yeah, so I told them that they adopted a baby. It's not their biological kid, but they love him as much as we love you. And he was okay with that.
I think that's a good example, a good explanation.
And I do feel, I think, going forward, not going forward or anything, I think this discussion is actually not that difficult. We believed everything our parents told us when we were kids. Why would he not believe that? And we grew up with that belief system.
Well, you say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people water it down when they're explaining things with like the baby stork, drops a baby off at night. And I don't know how you feel about that.
I'll
I
tell
don't I don't like that. I prefer the honesty road.
So, real life story is this. I'm growing up in India and everything related to sex is taboo, right? And we're really what you call traditional society or
Right.
traditional household that I was in, right? Everything sexual is a little taboo. I had to find out and figure out on my own how the birds and bees and whatever works, right? I'm in 4th grade and I'm asking, because I was in boarding school, so we had, kids who were, older than us also live with us. So there's a guy in 6th grade who's senior than me. So I'm asking him because my friend and I, we had this discussion.
He's most experienced.
Yeah,
most
he's the
knowledge.
most experienced in that dorm, right? So my friend and I were having this discussion that no, this is how the babies are made. No, this is how the babies are made, right? And then we bet on this thing and we're like, all right, let's ask this guy. So we asked this guy, like, how are the babies made, right? And then he tells us. And he says, if you don't believe me, go look in that book, 10th grader's book. And at that time I cried because my whole life was like, okay, mom and dad told me these are bad things. And how could they do bad things? Right? So when my pediatrician told me that tell Henry what intercourse is or how babies are made right now, because eventually if he finds out later in life, it's going to be a big shock. I literally had that memory in my head.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Full circle.
Full circle. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not joking. Seriously. There was 3 of us taking a walk in the evening in our, around the tennis court in my school. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he's like, yeah, this is how it happens. And I would not believe him. And then I started crying. And then my friend also started crying because he could not believe it either. And the next day, we actually went to the senior guys' dorms and took their books and looked at the reproductive system, because that's when we came to know about, that's when the reproductive system would be taught to us in
Right.
10th grade. And we just looked at the photos and everything. And we're like, the fuck? Right?
Well, I think that's again, I harken to a comment I made earlier. It's the missed opportunities
Yeah.
for parents to be very clear and direct with people, children that can understand, at
They
least at a high
can.
level. Why would you leave a kid to ask another kid about
Yeah.
such an experience? What they have, it's the
Absolutely.
blind leading the blind, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
then they're gonna get it all kinds of wrong. It's a cowabunga position.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, I don't know. I just heard it from. Okay, well, yeah. It's like now you're 28 talking to your partner about the cowabunga position.
Yep.
Now, what is that?
What is that?
Where'd you learn that from?
Exactly.
It's like, just be honest.
Let's
and-
assume that this person goes through the life not knowing anything and just believes in the cowabunga position, gets married, and tells the wife, let's do the cowabunga position. And she's
Exactly.
like, what the fuck are you talking
Well,
about?
I mean, it's like, your parents told you this. This is,
Yes.
and you believe them,
Yes,
right?
you
Your parents
believe
tell
that.
you something. It's
Yeah.
like, they're not going to lie to you.
They're not gonna lie to you.
So I think from a father perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it is always in our best interest to be honest and
There
clear
you go.
with
Be
our
honest.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
and
can
very-
they can
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, I mean,
can
you
take
don't have
it.
to go into the details,
Yeah.
but you need to be able to explain.
They don't
things.
ask other questions.
Yeah,
Because it's really simple for them to understand. As I told you, 2 people love each other, they can choose to get married and have a family. And he totally understood that. They understand what love is, right?
imagine if every kid
Yeah.
in the United States
Yeah.
got that one line when they were young.
Yeah.
Where would we be today?
Yeah. Different society, right? People
Yeah.
will not fear other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Nick tells me all the time he got it from somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
If you don't like gay marriage, don't get gay married.
Don't get married.
It's,
Yeah,
I mean, it's that simple. How is this affecting you like, in any way? Like, okay, that great. Now we need to outlaw it,
yeah.
so that you don't accidentally fall into it.
But that's the thing. How do you accidentally fall into
You
it?
don't.
You don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
So it's like, just leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm 44 years old, right? I haven't had the desire to go ahead and become gay one day. But I didn't have the desire to, okay, you know what? I'm going to change my lifestyle one day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to totally switch. No, that's not happening.
But again, I think that goes back to movie theory as well.
It
You see
does.
a lot of these fictitious
Yep.
shows about being able to switch and do all these. Oh, I'm going to try. You never know if you don't try. And it's like, that's not how that really works. I
There
know it
was
makes
one
a good
time in college.
story,
One time in
but-
college, right?
Right.
No.
We all experiment.
yeah.
And there's some truths to some of these things, but it's not the norm.
It's not the
you
norm.
you don't anyway, that's a whole different
Yeah, absolutely. That is a
podcast
whole different.
for another day.
But yeah, going back to what you asked, my father taught me what he knew about the world at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I took that and I went somewhere else in my life, and I came to know about more and more about the world. I got a little bit more informed. Henry's getting my perspective now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that, knock on wood, I'm an educated person. I think logically. So when I came to know about, I would not call it lifestyle, but different sexual orientation or different kind of people, I wasn't like, oh my God, they're going to kill me, It's like, all right, let's see how it is. And then I was fortunate enough to befriend people who are gay, who are black, who are Asians, whatever.
I mean, we've got everything.
We got everything, yeah. We got a whole melting pot. And then turns out we're not that different in a way.
And that's the point of this podcast. Yeah. That is the gist of this podcast. Whether you are LGBTQ, straight, from a different culture, different background, we are all teaching the same things.
Yeah.
Now, whether you tell the whole truth or not the whole truth, I think that is the dividing mark between the kind of person that you are introducing into the world.
Yes. Kids might not be ready to hear some things not because they're not ready, I would say. I'll take it back. They will not understand some things. But sometimes when he asks me some complicated stuff, I'll tell him, hey, this is because of this, but you do not know what this is. As you grow up, you'll understand that as well. Then you can ask me more.
So I think this is a great stepping stone in any evolution of a father, regardless of where you come from. When you do become a dad, having an active interest in being able to share information, be very vulnerable in your approach with your child, being very transparent, age appropriate with certain commentary, and being able to say, I'm not going to tell you who to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the baseline so that you can grow into who you want to be.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm not trying to scare him from anything. As I said, I didn't get any, bad experience growing up or coming here, with people calling me names or anything like that. Hasn't happened yet. Okay. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. So I'm not going to scare him into being like, okay, these people are bad, or these kind of people are bad. Okay, or these people can be racist or something. Maybe they will, and maybe he'll come to me, and maybe I can have that conversation then, right?
Or even how to protect others who are having that experience.
Yeah, it's one of my functions was to make him not be annoying, not be. He needs to be loved, and I think the easiest thing to do and to be loved is if you can love other person. Yeah, it just becomes philosophical at that point. But I think it kind of works.
Poignant, yeah.
It kind of works. You know how they say you get respect by giving respect? Right? It kind of works.
It's true.
It kind of works. Yeah. So he has his friend circle. And a bunch of them are girls, a bunch of them are guys, right? And they get along. Everyone gets along. No one has any problem, right? And I just see, and all different races, right? And I'm assuming that none of those parents are actually having these kind of conversations that, hey, that person's bad or these kind of people are supposed to be bad. And if these kids can get along when they are young, I doubt they would not get along when they grow old either.
Right. We all learn not to get along.
Based
on what we hear from our parents, what we see on TV, the literature that we read, the people that are being teased in classes and in school, and no one's coming to protect them. Right? That's how we learn to be so divisive, if you will. But anyway, I think we're nearing the end of our podcast talk. I want to thank you, Shally, for spending some time with us. I think this has been fantastic to learn from. Again, a different perspective, a straight perspective, cultural background, different engagement with parents. Your engagement with your dad was vastly different than mine, but we've kind of both ended up in the same spot. Raising amazing kids. So I think there's some proof in the pudding there.
There is. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and call me anytime. I love talking.
Fantastic. Well, again, thanks everyone for taking the time to visit with us today. We'll talk again in the next episode. 1, 2, 3.
You can never find somebody do it like me. I'ma turn it all the way up cause it kamikaze.